Good morning, students. My name is Peter. My surname is Kewowo, and I am your tutor for your visual art subjects, the DJPE, BEST, PPE, and the code is Va11. You are doing a diploma in junior primary education, and the visual art, it's a part of your subject. And most important that you should keep in mind and always not hesitate to keep, it's that you must take my contact number, that is 081-3383-070, or you can contact me on my email address, which is pkewowo@gmail.com. You can contact me at any time, but I prefer if you can send first an SMS, so that when you send an SMS, I will then let you know if I call you right back, or perhaps your question needs me to go and conduct the study guide a little bit. Otherwise, send me an SMS, raise your concern, then I'll get back to you as soon as I can. First and foremost, we are going to look at the contents of your study material. You have got different study materials, and part of that includes the book, and you have got also a Kindle. And these are the contents in your study materials concerning the visual art subject for those that are using the Kindle. Since the Kindle have got many information, and you have to search through so that you can find where art subject is in your Kindle. Otherwise, for the book study guides, it's a straightforward thing. Unit 1 in your study guide, it's about explaining the basics of visual arts perspective. Unit 2, it's about examining and demonstrating how to draw pictures. Unit 3, it's about clarifying and demonstrating how to make models. And Unit 4, illustrate, clarify, and clarifying, constructing, and collage work. Then now you have to keep in mind that word is not college. Many students get confused there. They pronounce it as college, but it's a French word, collage, that also in other words can mean pasting, tearing things and pasting on a piece of paper. That is the method. Otherwise, while creating something appeal. Unit 5, it's about this kind of the discussions of the aspects of teaching and assessing art creations, how you teach and how you assess the artworks that are being created by your learners. Unit 6, it's about examining the teaching and the learning activities, materials of visual arts for grade 1. I think it should say pre-primary, grade 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Unit 1, the explanations of some basic of visual arts perspectives. Now, under that specific unit, and for each and every other units, the subtitles. Now, we are not going to cover all those units or subtitles under each unit in details. We rather just spotted out the most, or what we think it's at least what you should know in that specific unit, either when you are preparing for your exams or when you are doing your assignments. It's rather just highlights of the most significant points in the specific unit. Now, we start with the description of the word art itself. In your study guide, it says that art is a form and it's a content. Why do we say it's a form and content? It's because artists use specific mediums or materials Remember, mediums is just another term for materials, the language in the visual arts, and apply the elements of art that we'll look at a little bit later to create something appeal. And that is what it means by art is a form and content that the artist uses art materials and art elements plus principles to create something appeal, which is also should be new as well. Art, or what is art education? Art as a subject falls within the aesthetic area of learning, or rather it falls within the beauty area of learning and has definite thematic links with the other subjects. Now, what does that mean? It means that you cannot really teach arts in isolation. For you to be able to teach arts, you must have a theme in class. And when you are teaching art, you are teaching toward that specific theme. For example, if your theme is a house, that means you have to get materials or other similar materials like boxes, whereby learners will be cutting around boxes and they are gluing them together while creating a house. Or otherwise, you can use other subjects. Subjects in visual arts, we are referring to materials that you are using in the art and also the type of things that you do. So if your theme is a house and you are teaching art, that means you will need specific materials that cannot harm children or your learners, and they will use that to create houses in order for them to bring the theme, which is a house, into reality. Unit 1 continues. Now, in art education, there are specific areas or that are called distinct areas because they are differ from one art form to another art form. We have got visual arts, that is of drawing, painting, making sculptures, carving stones, and even photography is part of visual arts. And as you can see, it's indicated 2D and 3D. 2D art is the art that is only useful on one side of it. Imagine for a picture, when you put a picture on your wall, it means behind it, that is nothing there. It's not useful. It's only useful where there is image. So, in other words, two-dimension art is the art that you cannot really go around it. You only look at it from one side. While the 3D, it's arts like sculptures or statues that you see and you are able to go around it. That means while going around it, it's useful from both sides. And also we have got the art of music, that is to do with singing, also playing instruments, beats. So you can see that the music, it's differ from visual arts. In visual arts, you are drawing, you are painting. In music, you are singing, you are playing instrument, you are making this, and you can do other. That's why there is a dots there. Those just it does not end there. It means that it's a lot that you can still learn and also know as part of music. And then we have also art of dancing. That's about observing, it's about thinking, it's about imagining, and also feel through the movement. Art of dancing. You hear the music, you move to the music. You feel the music, you just go with the flow, you follow the music. Also art of drama, that is also for observing or thinking and imagining, or otherwise feel through pretending play. This is art like theater plays, art of the movies that you watch at home. That is the art of drama. And also we have got appreciating art, which is to do with evaluating and appreciation. When learners are done with their artworks, they evaluate their own artworks, and you as a teacher evaluate as well, and you also appreciate their hard work, their innovative and their creativeness, and also compliment them as such. Now you can see that visual arts differ from music, art of music. Music of art is art of music is different from art of dancing. Art of dancing is different from art of drama, but they complement each other sometimes. That's why you can see sometimes when you are watching a drama, there's always music in the background. Unit 1 continues still. What are now the aims of art education? Why should we teach art in our schools? The aims of art education is that it develops the culture. It also helps learners to understand the intercultural. They also help cultural awareness and appreciation, imagining and creativity, self-expression, confidence, communication, self-discipline, responsibility, cooperation, art as a means of expression, and also problem solving. So in other words, learners feel at easier when they are practicing art. How? Because they are more of independent, and also they have got the chance of expressing themselves, because always when learners are doing either a drawing or a mold, when you give them clay to make something, they are always having something to tell. And it can be related to their culture, it can be related to just imaginations. It's a tool of developing learners in everyday education. So Unit 1 still continues. Common aims of art education. Why are they called common aims? Are they differ from the previous one that we just learned about? Or is it because these are the most frequent use of art? Or maybe why people express the reasons of why they do art? It's said that art stimulates creativity. It stimulates creativity because it gives you a chance, or it gives a child a chance to make something new, to create something that does not exist or that existed before. And also it develops self-expression, expressing the ideas and feeling through visual samples. So otherwise, what we are saying is that art gives a chance to learners to express their emotions, what they are going through, they are imagining, and they do this without actually fear or thinking that maybe what I'm doing is wrong or what. Rather, they just express themselves in such a way that even those that have got difficulties, maybe they are shy, they can't talk, through doing art projects, they are able to express what they are feeling inside. Also, art is hand-eye training, because it's about the coordination between the hand and the eye. Especially in life drawing, when you have got an object that you put in front of the learners to draw, that means the learner have to observe this object, and while they are observing at the same time they are drawing it. So that specific coordination between watching or looking or observing at an object while transferring it in a drawing or in a piece of paper through the process of drawing. So art and culture, example, use of cultural samples in artworks. We are different, we are coming from different cultural background. And if you have got a room that full diverse with learners from different backgrounds, and you give them a project to do, you will see that even if it's the same theme, you will see that if the theme, for example, like we keep using a house, because these specific learners are coming from different houses, different cultures, different backgrounds, you will learn that a house, that specific theme, will be expressed in many different ways depending on where the child is coming from. If a child is a Himba, expect a Himba house. If a child is a Vambu, expect a Vambu house. If a child is a Nama Damara, expect a Nama Damara house. If you're coming from Caprivi, now Zambezi region, expect the child or the house from that specific region. So the symbols, that's how you will differ or find the differences. Also in arts, there's different stages of development. That's about 4 to 5 in your study guide, but we only choose 3 that we are going to look at. And that includes the scribbling development stage. And these are now stages based on drawing, not on development of a child in growing and all that, but rather in drawing. So in the scribbling stage, expect drawings that are disordered. They are not in order. They are not in a specific order. So there and please, if you can give yourself a chance, and if you have got a toddler or a child that is between 2 and 4 years old, to do your own experiment. Give them a pencil and a piece of paper and see what happens to that specific paper. So you will see that you will see figures that are disordered. They are not coordinated to form a specific image, but it's rather a rough drawing that is there, but to a child it means something. You can also find longitudinal. They are called longitudinal figures. Those are figures that lots of lines and they are repeating each other. And you can also find circulars and naming. Circulars also, it's pictures that there's lots of circles. Lots of circles in there, but not really a specific image that you as an adult can identify, but these are rather of the images that only meaningful to the children, because for them they are serious drawings. We also have a pre-semantic stage or a symbolic stage that is now between the age group of between 4 and 7. So there also you should expect in their drawing, you should expect something that is called the tuples or feet head or head feet, and fantasies. Fantasies are just things that being imagined. They don't really exist, but it's events that are happening in the child's mind and how the child wishes to see things happening. Something, it's not really something in reality, but something that only exists in the child's mind. And also the head feet, this is when you have got even the feet looks like the head looks like the feet. And other words, it's in other words, it's called tap holes. So, and then we have got also semantic stage that is between 7 and 9. And there is a stage where you can expect now a little bit of coordinated image, because they start, the learner is growing, and also they are learning to identify things a little bit better, and in their drawings they are trying to make a meaning. So that means they are a little bit careful when they are drawing. A human, they can tell or they know how the contents or how a human looks like. So expect a little bit of an identifiable image of drawing, comparing to the distorted, the scribbling, and also the prismatic. Also in the arts, you need to know the elements and the principles of art plus good advertisement. Lines, color, shape, form, texture, space, and tone or value. These are the elements of art. These are the stuff that, or the elements. These are the tools, the thing that you should put together to make an artwork or a drawing. For a drawing to exist in a piece of paper, that means you need to put on a line, and if you have to turn that specific line into a shape, let's try to take it maybe a specific shape. Can you see that it's lines that are just put together, and in a way they form a shape? And in that specific shape, you are able to spot the space, you speak. So these are the contents that you will need for you to be able to produce a drawing that can be identified as an artwork. While principles are balance, contrast, dominance, propulsion, repetition or patterns, or harmony, unity, and composition or varieties. So this is now more of when you are done drawing using elements of art. Now to spot the differences, the depth, to create the depth in the artwork, to create the focal point, to create the purpose, to feel. That is when you add in the colors, and then while adding in the colors, also you compare the colors to create contrast, blue, white, or blue, yellow, green. So that specific contrast, how are you able to identify blue from yellow, from green, and which one is more dominant? It's about just, again, the contents that you need to be able to complete your art piece. Good advertisement, said that it must be attractive, good words, proper handle, and also targeting. So what makes you buy things? When you either in a flyer or a poster or a video or a clip that is used on the television, that means the artists or the graphic designers, who are also artists, uses attractive colors. They choose the most convincing words. They can a little bit exaggerate, use some propagandas to make you feel that, and also it must have a specific target. Good target or good advertisement always have got a specific identified group of people to whom it must appeal to. It's never a one-size-all or one-size-fits-all. So, but like I said before, we are not going through step by step in every sub unit or topics. That's why you can see sometimes maybe the lines, like we talk of the principle of art, and then all of a sudden we are on the advert. So it's because it's not, we only spotted at the most important things that you need to concentrate on as you are doing your assignment or preparing yourself for exam. Still Unit 1, also in Unit 1, in your study guide, you learn that there is different Namibian artists and also African artists, plus the European artists, or out of continent or African continent artists. So you need to, what do you need to know as you are studying about these artists? You need to know their biographies. You need to know biography. It's just who they are, where they are coming from, where they were born, and that is just a summary of their personal existence. Also, when you look at their subject matters, these are in their visual arts. When you look at those paintings and the drawings in your study guide, you look what subject matters. When you look in the art piece, what are you able to identify in that specific artwork? Is they human beings? Is they animal figures? You know, actually the contents, those are the what called subject matters. And then the materials. You look at the specific art. Do they work in printing, or do they work in sculpting, or in stone carving, or what do they work in? That's the materials that they use. The mediums and specializations. These specific artists, are they painters? Do they paint only? Do they draw only? Do they print only? Do they carve stones only, or wood only, or are they multi? So, but you learn, what does Johnny Mathangeo does? Printing. What does Kai Kaoli does? Painting and stones. so on. That's what you need to learn about the specific artworks. Even, I mean, artists, even if you have to write about them, follow the specific structure. Their bio, because you need to introduce them. Their subject matters, what do they talk about in their artworks? What materials do they use? Unit 2 is about examining and demonstrating how to draw pictures. And it starts with the phrase that a picture is worth 1,000 words in education. Do you agree or do you disagree? This, what I'm trying to say, that pictures do not only exist in books for the sake of them being there. They are a form of developing and stimulating the child's or the learner's understanding. Learners can read pictures. Pictures provide information to learners. And in such a way, sometimes where the words are not clear or where the learner is finding it hard to understand within the words, by looking at a picture, actually you somehow create a room for a child to understand better that maybe what teacher is trying to say, it's what is being shown in the picture. So pictures should be there always complementing the lesson that you are teaching. If it's about cows, make sure that you have got cows in your pictures so that learners match the information that you are telling them to the cow that is they are seeing. Also, painting, print activities and lines as elements of arts. Now you look at the tools: constructing papers, newspapers or newsprint, cartridge, lines, pattern making, groups and use of colors and textures, form, shape and perspectives implied in drawing. The tools, those are the specific tools or equipments that you need to be able to create a painting. Also, you took off newsprint, also cartridge. You need to know the difference. In newsprint, these are the papers, the normal papers that are used for newspapers that you read every day. Cartridge prints, these are hard and they are very durable papers, and these are papers that maybe this one a little bit softer, but they are the papers that we use in drawing and also in printing. And then also you look at the colors, the theory of colors. You should know the primary colors, that is of blue, yellow, and red. Those are the colors, those are the primary colors that you can never mix to get them. Otherwise, with them you can mix other colors. Okay. Unit 2 continues. Focal point in picture, drawing or a painting. Most important, know what is a focal point. Focal, what is the most attractive part of the painting? When you look in a painting, what attracts you most, or what makes you look in that specific painting? And this is how, or these are the elements or the components that puts or makes the focal point appeal comparing to the other subject matters in the painting. The contrast, how visible is it? How big or smaller than the others? You also look at the isolation, where you put the object, the format and the relation to the others. In that specific, is it on top, is it in the center, or is it on the side? Also, and that goes with the placement, the position of the picture in the drawing, and also the contouring. How is it sized? How is the colors? But you can see that contrast, isolation, placement, and contouring, their description, they are complementing each other. It's like you can't have one and not have the other one. But all otherwise, this is the elements plus the principles of art that you need in your specific artwork, either it's being a drawing or a painting or a photographer. But it's to do with the focal point, the most attractive point in a picture. And I tell you, It's not always the same. What attracts me in that specific picture might be not what attracts the next person. So it depends on what favorite colors, perhaps, the size, but it does not also mean that the bigger, the most interactive. No, it can be a little tiny thing, but maybe it's a diamond that is put there and it's shining, and you can it can bling in your eye from a distance, and then as a result you come closer to find it out what was that. Also, we talk of the critics of drawing, painting, or any other form of artwork. Now, critic, what does that specific term means? It's just another word of interpreting. It's not the same as criticizing. Criticizing is about finding problems, mistakes in a specific art piece. Otherwise, critic, it's about finding the meaning in that specific art piece. That's why it said it's not about judging. Do not say I like or I don't like. It's about interpretation, descriptions, analyzing the artwork based on the elements of art such as lines, shapes, space, colors, and textures, and all that. So it's about you just trying to analyze, understanding the picture, but you are not really judging to conclude whether it's bad or it's good, or you like it or you don't like it, but rather the use of the elements and principles of art in that specific art piece. And then also, while doing so, there is also theories around it. Theories that you should put into consideration when now you're looking at a specific artwork. And here we are no more talking about critics, now we are judging. Theories when judging, all criticizing an artwork. And then theories are always different findings by different studies. So they compare, they contrast, they discuss, or they disagree. So here we have got three theories. One is imitation, another one is formalism, and the third one is emotionalism. The theory of imitation argues that art must imitate what we see. You see and you paint or you draw according to what you see. While formalism argues that art is about the use of the elements of art. It does not matter what you do as long as the elements of art are used in a specific way or in a manner that it should be used. All the drawing, if you are drawing a person, you don't not drawing a deformed head with a small feet or something like cartoons, as long as it's the elements of art are used in a specific way that the artist intends. So that is what the formalism theory is arguing about. They don't mind if it's about imitation. Then they only concentrate on the elements or the use of elements of art plus and the principles. Then emotionalism theory, that is says that art is about the mood the artist communicates. Said what you see in a painting, it reflects what the artist was going through, or maybe the situation they experienced sometimes in their lives. That is what they are trying to communicate. But if you look at the three different theories, imitation, it's about you draw what you see. All art must imitate what you see, you paint what you see. No creativity there perhaps. Otherwise, formalism, it's about the formality, using the needed procedures set for an art piece to be recognized as one, and that is the use of elements of art and principles of art. Or otherwise, emotionalism, it argues that art, it's about what the artist feels and what the artist is about to communicate. So you yourself, you read the theories, understand them, and maybe conclude which one do you support. Do you agree that it's art should imitate, or should follow the elements of art, or the emotionalism that argues that it's about the mood of the artist. Art as a tool to develop self-image, for example, role model, belonging, attitude, strength, talent, and feedback. So when learners are doing art can be used as that specific tool that can make the child come out, that can make the child feel free to express themselves, and in such a way, that it develops attitude, and it creates also the feel of belonging. It's about strength, it's about expressing also, or identifying the talent, and also the feedback that they get from the others. Art as a tool to develop self-image, communicate, and group work. And that includes drawing, delights childhood, therapeutic assessment, educational and clinical setting, also communicating skills, emotional adjustment, diagnosis, learning abilities. When you are teaching or when you are giving children to do an art activity, while they are doing so, you will be able to understand the child's standard, either of communicating if the child does not talk in class, but the child does otherwise when they are doing their art projects or their art activities. Maybe the most silent child when you are teaching them in class is the most creative child when they are doing a practical work that to do. So you can, it's used all that to identify the child's communication skills, emotional adjustment, and also to see the ability of the child when it's come to learning. Practical art activities such as potato printing, the most famous one in your book. So this one, I want you to read it. And also, as you are reading it, I want you to know the method for you to be able to teach or to give children to do a potato printing activity. What do you need to have in place? The potato itself, it has to be there. The tools, the designs, the theme, and everything else that needed for you to be able to complete the potato printing. Unit 3, which is about clarifying and demonstrating how to make models. Designers, shapes, meanings, and symbols in links in arts. Designers, what do designers use shapes for? They use it to organize connections and separations, to give ideas, different ideas, to create movements, textures, depth and mood and emotions, entry points and areas of interest. So why do designers use shapes, and what meanings do they bring into their shapes as they are working? So you need to know that they use that specific shapes to create the connections and the separations, ideas, movements, textures, depth, the in and out, the distance that is created within a specific area, or a painting, or a poster, and all that. Shapes, what are the shapes? These are the geometric or natural, organic, abstract, circles, squares, and rectangles. So this is more of a little bit of what you can just read yourself in the book and able to understand. Also, meanings and symbols convey different moods and meanings, communications, and cultural beliefs. So within the art, when the learners are doing an artwork, either of painting or drawing, or do you really see meanings? Is there any connection between their moods and what they are trying to tell? Does it connect to their cultural, traditional backgrounds, or these are the things that you need to know as an art educator when looking at the children's art. You have to keep in mind that always what children are trying to do in their artworks is to convey their different moods by communicating and also by relating it to their cultural beliefs. Working with clay as a tool to improve discipline in arts. Examples: what rules and regulations, what will you put in place to make sure that these children follows, they understand the guidelines, they respect each other's work? So this is more to do of just putting your class in order when you are doing clay, because clay is the most thing that children like enjoying, and they can go wild with it. And if you don't have specific rules there to guide them, then you might end up wasting it all. Otherwise, what are the benefits of reactive activities such as modeling? How do children benefit from this clay when they are modeling, when they are doing it? Why is it good for them? Said it's good for problem solving. It stimulates, or it instills discipline. It's a calming effect because they have to get in a specific mood and they want peace and silence while they are making their models. It also creates pride and self-worth because in the end they love and also they respect their own work, and also it stimulates curiosity. That means a child will want to know wonders there, to make what can I make out of this clay, and also a feel and a need to create more since they enjoy working with clay. So Unit 4, illustrate, clarify, constructing, and collage. As I emphasized in the beginning, that collage, this is not college. It's mispronounced by many students and they get stuck right there. They can call you just to tell you how much they don't understand this collage word. But they would say college, they pronounce as college, but they feel it's somehow misspelled because there's an E, an O there instead of an E. So it's a collage, it's a French word, and in simple terms you can say it's just a process of pasting, but while creating a specific image of something. You have got glue, you have got an image that you want to create, and you have got pieces of magazines, newspapers, and all that. You don't want to paint, you don't want to draw, you want to create that specific image by using other piece of papers, or maybe wood, or maybe hair, to create that specific image. So you tear around piece of papers and use glue to paste them around the drawing or your sketch that you made there, or you can do it also from your head, and in the end you are collaging. Or otherwise you can say you are pasting, but pasting is more of just cutting out images as they are and then you paste them there. But this one is specific, you create images with the cut out or torn out pieces of papers. Under this unit you learn how to involve learners in constructing activities and the teaching materials. So when involving learners in constructing activities, now make a difference. This is not constructing of buildings and all that. This is about small materials like papers, boxes. Children are cutting out and they are creating or constructing their little houses or little animals using those specific. It's not about using cement and others. It's about using these light materials for children to create something with them. So what you do, you need to involve them. You need to plan your lesson. You need to know the theme. What is it? Because the theme is the most important that you should know in these activities. Children have to have a guidance, plus yourself. It's the theme is about cars, then you have to make sure it's about cars, and you provide materials that can be used by children to create cars, and then you have the time frames, you have the idea, and then you encourage them. So that is the right of a structure of what you need in order for you to involve learners in constructing all other activities of teaching materials. Then the last but not least, Unit 6. Now some of the study guides that you have only up to Unit 4, while others have got up to, especially the BECST study guide, have got up to Unit 6. And the Unit 6, it's about examining the teaching and the learning activity materials of visual arts for grade 1 until grade 3. Now, because of time and all that, I want you to read this specific unit on your own. It's only about participation or participating, and also the competencies or the traits or the aspects that you should consider when you are teaching children. You have to identify what the child is able to do, because it's more practical, and how can you improve that specific child's ability to do that specific thing. So please, I want you to read that specific unit, and also do not hesitate to contact me. All right, so let's quickly do a little bit of a recap. And then we will do this in the contents. What we looked at, Unit 1, it's about the basic of visual arts perspectives. While Unit 2, it's more of examining and demonstrate, in other words, showing how to make pictures, how to draw them. And Unit 3, it's clarifying, and it demonstrates also on how to make models. This is where they talk of clay models, how it clarifies the method, what to follow, how should you do it, what to have in place. And also it demonstrates, there's lots of pictures also there for you to look at. Unit 4, it illustrates, it clarifies the constructing and collage. Constructing, that means of using boxes or any other light materials that means no harm to your learners while creating something. If your theme is a house, and then you should know what you need to create that specific house. You will need glue. In my case, I will need glue, I will need boxes, I will need some colors, because in my house I'll have to get colors, and otherwise we cut and we create a house. Collage, it means you should have magazines, you should have newspapers, you have rough papers. Some teachers or some artists can even take blank papers, they color them different colors, and then they tear them to create collage image. Also, Unit 5, it discusses the aspects of teaching and assessing art creation. How do you teach, and also how do you give credits? How do you assessing actual, just it refers to evaluate, to look at what the child have completed, and also to be able to comment. Remember, they are not looking forward to negative comments. You should always praise them for their work, and also in a good way inform them where they need to improve in their works, but don't say it's ugly, it's what, it's no. You appreciate them for their time, work done, and then also inform them where or how they should do it next time. And then Unit 6, which is the last unit in the study guide, that is to do with the learning materials, or otherwise the competences and all that you will need to improve in children's ability to create or to work in the creative aspects. Okay, I think that is that for today. And again, with my contact details, I prefer by phone, but I'm active on my email also. But most important is that send me an SMS with your question. You don't need to introduce yourself. Once you say I'm Iol student and my challenge is this, it's enough. Then we tackle the challenge. You don't need to say my name is who, student number is this one. No, I don't have access to that specific information to confirm whether you are really a student or not. Otherwise, we just tackle the challenge. I am Iol student, and I have got a challenge. While I'm reading my study guide in visual arts, I don't understand the A, B, C, D, or when I'm doing my assignment, I don't understand this question. Then we tackle that specific challenge that you are experiencing. It's good always, if you write an SMS, I read the SMS, then I reply to you, can I call you now, or please remind me after a specific few minutes, because maybe I am not in the position to speak at that specific moment. So just send an SMS with the problem or the challenge, then I will assist you at any time, as long as it's a good time to contact somebody. Some students will be learning or doing your studies middle of the night, and that is the specific thing. Even if you don't understand it, don't worry, my phone is on, just call. As long as the bottom line is to tackle that specific problem. Please do not hesitate. I thank you very much for your time, and please do not hesitate to contact me when you don't understand. Please do, because this is just a little bit of information from a very big book, and it might not be informing clearly enough for you to understand everything.